I myself Mridunjay Kumar. Today I am here with a new economics subject video which is related to food security and agriculture price policy. So as we know, after independence, India's first focus was on the field of agriculture. So after the independence, the first 3 decades was mainly focused on availability of the food to the citizens. So as we know, since 1960s, mid 1960s, we experience several food shortage. Since the food security is targeted to achieve through public distribution system, although the food security goal is directly linked with PDS, but also indirectly linked with the food grain procurement policy of the government. Further, the new instrument of agriculture price policy or the government determined certain price in agriculture is crucial to maintain the food security. So in a procurement, let's get started with the procurement price. What is this procurement price? So in this procurement price, now we are going to introduce with the two terms, the MSP and CIP. I think you all might be already aware with the term of MSP, minimum support price, because in the recent news the farmer protest was going on, and the main protest was on the concept of MSP. So now let get started with MSP and CIP. So as you all know, MSP is minimum support price and CIP is central issues price. So let me write it down. So MSP and the second one is CIP. MSP is minimum support price and CIP is central issues price. So let me give you an example. What is MSP, minimum support price? The minimum support price is a guarantee given by a government to the producers. For example, in a particular year, if farmer A produces a crop B, a type of crop B, if that farmer put or invested rupees 10 rupees in the production while the production, so if and when the crop get ready and ready to sell in the market, for example, that particular year a lot of farmer produces the same crops. If the lot of farmer produces the same crop, so in the market that crop availability is at very high level, so the demand came down. If the demand came down, then the price automatically come down. If the price come down, then this might be happen. For example, if that particular farmer invested rupees 10 rupees while in the process of production, this is very normal that they might get rupees 8 or 7 rupees a kg then. So because of this market determined price, the government are there to secure or to help the producers to incentivize them not to stop production. The government came with MSP, minimum support price. The government guaranteed that particular farmer. For example, in the last example, if we introduce if we insert the MSP concept, then that would be like, in that particular example, if that particular farmer were producing a particular type of crop B and that particular farmer invested rupees 10 rupees while the production process, then the government will ensure you that if anything happen, government is here to give you rupees 15 rupees a kg of that particular crop. Whatever the market price should be, whatever the demand should be, the government is there to give you 15 rupees a kg. This is what the true meaning of MSP, and this is what the purpose of MSP. Now let's start little bit of CIP. What is CIP? As I told you earlier, CIP is central issues price, the price at which food grains are sold by the center to the state for public distribution system. Focus on this term, for public distribution system. Only for the public distribution system, whatever the crop is sold by center to the state, that is called a CIP, central issues price. And this is normal that if in the compared to market price, CIP, or of course this is the normal logic, is lesser in compared to market price. Central reserve price is lesser. If this help us to understand, if the CIP is lesser than M market price, MP, then the affordability of crop is good, is high. So let me give you a little bit explanation. So in MSP, government is not giving you that much of amount, that much of profit amount. The government, for example, if the production of crop is rupees 10 rupees, the government is not giving you 18 or 20 rupees. That amount you will get when the market pressure will give you. For example, that particular crop in that particular year, very few farmers produces that crop. Then the demand, then the in market the quantity of that crop is lesser, then the demand get increased, and you will get a good amount of profit and of that particular crop. But government will not give you that much of good profit. That's why the CIP is lesser than MP market price. And the, if for example, if the market is giving you 20 rupees a kg and government is giving you 15 rupees a kg, this help you to understand the affordability of that crop is increased in the market. If so, this help you to link between this MSP, minimum support price. Of course, this is the linkage between MSP and central dispatch price. Let me link one more term with the MSP and the food security. This two term, food security and MSP. So for example, if MSP get increased, if the minimum support price get increased, the production will definitely get increased, right? The production definitely get increased if MSP get increased. Then and this lead to be, if MSP get increased, the production get increased, and if the production get increased, the availability of that crop get increased. For example, if that government giving you 15 rupees a kg, 15 rupees of MSP on the particular crop, and if that government increase this MSP to 18 rupees, then what will happen? The MSP get increased, the production get increased, because now the farmer have incentive that if the market will give them a lesser amount, then government is there to give them 18 rupees. So the incentive is more now, incentive is higher now. In compared to when the government is giving 15 rupees, incentive is little lesser, because government is just giving 5 rupees a profit. Now government is giving you 8 rupees a kg profit. So now the incentive is higher, the production will increase, the farmer will produce that particular crop without any problem. Then the availability of that crop get increased also, because the farmer is producing a lot of that crop, then the availability of crop also get increased. So this is the linkage. If the availability get increased, then the food security get increased. Means the food security get increased, right? So this is all the linking between MSP to the food security, and CIP, central dispatch price, to the MSP, and CIP to the food security. For example, okay, I forget to tell you the linking between CIP to the food security, right? I already told you, if the central issues price, of course we all know the central issues price is little lesser than the market price. So in this case, the affordability of the crop is increased. You can afford that particular crop at a lower cost, because government is there. So in this case, when the affordability get increased, the food security get also increased. If you are capable enough to buy that crop, you are capable enough to fulfill your daily needs, then the food security automatically get increased. So this is the linking between CIP to the food security and MSP to the food security. So now we are going forward to the second topic, food subsidy. What is food subsidy? Now we are going to study this one, food subsidy. Let me explain you a little terms which belongs to this food subsidy. For example, the term is economic cost. What is this economic cost? The burden on the shoulder of government to give you the subsidy. And this economic cost is of two sided, the producer side and the consumer side. What is in the producer side? For example, the cost of transportation plus the cost of a storage plus the cost of maintenance plus the cost of electricity or extra others. This is what we can say the producer side cost which government have to bear to give the subsidy. What is in the consumer side? The consumer side is a very basic one. The subsidy burden, the subsidy which government give you, that is on the consumer side. So this is all about the economic cost. Now let's get with the mathematics term. Okay, mathematics term. So mathematically we can say the difference between economic cost of food grain minus central resource price. So in this economic cost, what is getting included? In this economic cost, we can say the MSP plus all other cost related to transportation, all other cost related to transportation plus storage plus distributions etc. This all are included in economic cost. So mathematically this is the formula: difference between economic cost of food grain minus central resource price. This is what is food subsidy. Now let's get started with public distribution system. What is public distribution system? So firstly let me tell you, public distribution system are of two type. One is universal public distribution system. The second one is targeted public distribution system. So before explaining this universal PDS and the targeted public distribution system, let me evaluate this PDS. The PDS function on the basis of two important conditions for distribution subsidized grains. First, the consumer must be identified as a beneficiary by having a ration card, and second, the beneficiary will be getting a rationed or a limited amount of grain only. However, these two aspects of PDS have changed over time. Although the MSP policy and PDS were part of this agriculture price policy, initially there were more emphasis on the procurement during the 1960s, as India has gone through the severe food crisis, and later half in 1960s. From 1970s onward, the Green Revolution's process ensuring higher productions level. So the focus shifted from the through PDS as well as universal PDS. So the focus shifted from universal PDS to the targeted PDS. So first let me elaborate what is universal PDS and what is targeted PDS. So before 1997, from roughly from 1960s, onward to 1997, from 1960s to 1997, this universal PDS is in the aspect, because this universal PDS, because at the time of 1916 when India was experiencing the shortage of food grains, at that time the main focus of the government was to make the food grain available to the citizens. So that time the subsidy is being provided to the every households. So there is no any targeted group, any particular household, for example, that be below poverty line, above poverty line. This all not be in the figure that time. So at the time of 1916 to 1997, there is universal PDS, and after 1997, there we come with the term of targeted PDS, targeted public distribution system. So now what happened is, when this after 1997, when this targeted PDS came in force, the government thought at that time that first let me tell you, in the targeted PDS there are two groups: the BPL, below poverty line, and above poverty line. These two are categorized: the below poverty line households, the above poverty line households. So the main focus at that time was on the below poverty line households. The more subsidy is being given to this kind of household, the below poverty line, and the above poverty line households are being getting a very low subsidies in compared to BPLs. So at this time, when the government thought that they have now the target towards the BPLs, so the government thought they have to give a subsidy to the lesser people. So that's why they increase the subsidy. Means they are giving more relaxations. The more subsidy means they reduces the price. The affordability get increased. So now what happens? The government at the time of 1997 increased food subsidy, and so then what happened is, when the government increased the food subsidy, thinking that they have to give subsidy to the lesser targeted people. So then what happened is, while the process of increasing the food subsidy, the government decreased their CIP, central issues price, because this is the way how you increase the food subsidy, right? So in case of above poverty line people, the government increased the CIP. This is how they decrease the subsidy to them, to the APL households. Now all this concept keeping in the mind, what happened is, because the APL households, the above poverty line households, withdraw from taking subsidy, because now they know the subsidy is very low. Then what is the need of taking that subsidy? So APL households withdraw from the taking subsidy. They withdraw to take subsidy. Then what happened? The result of the APLs withdrawing the subsidy, the storage costs get increased. The storage cost get increased. The storage cost get increased, the subsidy get increased, because government have to take more burden, so the subsidy get increased. Sorry, I misconcept here. When the storage cost get increased, and at the same time government increase the subsidy also, right, in to the MSP households. That's why the burden get more increased in the shoulder of government. Now government in 2001 government come up with a new Antyodaya Anna Yojana. So what is in this Antyodaya Anna Yojana? The government introduced one new class. This class is POP, poorest of the poor. So in this Antyodaya Anna Yojana, under this targeted public distribution scheme, the BPL households were supposed to get their food grains entitlements at 50% of the economic cost, while the APL households were not provided subsidies or for purchasing of food grain. From PDS they have to pay the equivalent or the entire economic cost of the food grain. So now what happened is, targeted PDS, the targeted public distribution system, could not achieve its goal to reduce food subsidy for a couple of reasons. A crucial factor behind this is withdrawal of many APL households from PDS. As the households no longer get subsidy, it led to more food grain storage and food in FCI godowns. So when the storage get increased, thereby the increasing storage cost of the food grain, and the poorest of the poor households get more grain at even cheaper prices. Already the government have to take a burden of the storage cost, and now when the government under Antyodaya Anna Yojana, when they introduced a new category of poorest of the poor, now the government is giving more subsidized food grains to them. So this result the more burden on the government. So that's why the food subsidy bill get increased. Now we are going to study this National Food Security Act. After all this targeted public distribution system and the universal distribution system, the food security, the food subsidy, all this, the now in 2013 government come with the Food Security Act. Before this, whatever we are studying, food subsidy, food subsidy, in food subsidy we studies MSP, CIP. This all are welfare based scheme. They all are welfare based. The government is giving a welfare to the citizens, the welfare to the producers, the welfare to the consumers. Now after 2013 we are now with the right, we have the right, because this is National Food Security Act. Now we have right, so now we are heading towards the right based schemes. Now we are heading towards the right based scheme or approach. Sorry, not scheme, it's approach, because this is the approach of governments toward agriculture field. So in this National Food Security Act incorporated a large number of nutrition support schemes benefiting children and the pregnant women, but also the most crucial change were introduced in targeted PDS, where targeted PDS entitlements, the beneficiary will be divided in the two category now. This targeted PDS are now getting divided into category. There, the first one is the priority households, and the second one is the Antyodaya households. So now the priority households and the Antyodaya households, these two types of households were eligible, were called as eligible households together. The act states that their eligible households will constitute about 75% of the rural population and 50% of the urban population, which together will form about 67% of Indian population. For all eligible households, uniform price of 3 to 1 per kg of rice, wheat and coarse grain will be applicable. This is the 3 to 1 is 3 kg, 2 kg and 1 kg. 1 rupees per kg of rice, wheat and coarse grain will be applicable. However, this price will be fixed at the first 3 years, only after which the price will be linked with MSP of the particular grain. Thereby, when the 67% of total population is being covered under this National Food Security Act, this result in higher coverage, because now we are covering more consumers. So the higher coverage, and this higher coverage will lead to the higher food subsidy. The second debatable issue or the second problem under this National Security Act, National Food Security Act, was of a low CIP, lower cost central issues price. So since such extreme lower CIP is also is for all eligible households, because in eligible households there are targeted, they are priority households and Antyodaya households. Both are being covered here. Sorry, the priority household and the Antyodaya Anna Yojana. The two of them are being covered here. The 67% of the total Indian population is being covered here. So, and the government also reduced their CIP. Food grains get increased, and the second thing is the government already decreased their CIP, the central issues price. The lower CIP may lead to higher PDS leakages, public distribution system leakages, as well as if the households resort to black marketing or food grain due to very low CIP, However, any debate on food security should not only focus on reducing food subsidy but also better targeting. So now we are going to have a look over reform in the public distribution systems. Reform was a doorstep delivery. To understand the reform, it must be noted that PDS leakages can be classified in two stages. The public distribution system leakages, because this is the main reason why the reform is needed in the public distribution systems. So the PDS leakage can be classified in two stages. The leakage can happen when the greens is being transported from the food FCI godowns to PDS outlets, the public distribution outlets from the FCI godowns. When the processing is being covered, while in the mid of this, the leakage can happen. And the second possible leakage is when the green is being distributed by the PDS outlets to the dealers or to the beneficiaries. It has been found that the most of the leakage under PDS happen during the first stage, means when the stage when the greens is being transported from the godowns to the PDS outlets. And under doorstep delivery, leakage at this stage has been decreased significantly at the doorstep, because the greens is being delivered at the doorstep, so the leakage is now being reduced. And the initiative in making the transport agreements for the PDS grain to the fair price of the food departments of many states also is being focused. The solution toward this was we need to get the we need innovative use of the information technology and the end-to-end computerized record. This also helped us a lot in ensuring or protecting the leakages from here. And the second reform is in the better management at the fair price shops. So, in the state where PDS outlets are managed by community-based institutes, it has been better managed. This is been experienced that in whatever the state the PDS outlets has been managed by the community-based institute, at that in that particular state, the management is very good. For example, in Chhattisgarh and Tamil Nadu, Tamil Nadu is only let me give you one more example. The Tamil Nadu is only state in India which always have universal public distribution system. Tamil Nadu have universal public distribution system and not targeted public distribution system. So this Chhattisgarh and Tamil Nadu, they both have community-based institute running PDS outlets, and these two states have a community-based institute which runs their PDS outlets. Because in the state of Chhattisgarh and Tamil Nadu have very good record of public distribution system, means the leakages is very low here in these two particular states. So now we need to focus more on the community based public distribution systems outlets means being ensured, because we experience that when in whichever state the community based institution is being running the public distribution outlets, the records is being very good there. The third one is reducing number of fake or barcode ration card. The central has gone for Aadhaar linkage also. The ration card now no longer necessary, because the problem came up many of the time. Many of them didn't have Aadhaar cards, and if they have, then didn't have the infrastructure or poor connectivity of the infrastructure where linkage is not possible. Odisha and Bihar have this doorstep delivery, and the barcode ration card system is being here. Coming towards the next reform, in the public distribution system is one nation, one ration card. Under this, central government is proposing to use same ration card across the nation. If any of your household is at any other state also, now they are also can have the subsidy under this. So one nation, one ration card. This is beneficial to the migrant workers or family of migrant workers. So reduce the discrimination in public distribution systems. So now we have the access to get subsidy anywhere. Reduce discrimination in PDS. And the last reform in this public distribution system is direct benefit transfers in PDS. So this is being in more debate in the recent times. So now let's have a little bit information about this direct benefit transfer. So under this direct benefit transfer, the relatively lower government burden as compared to the indirect subsidy, because in indirect subsidy you have to take a lot of burden, a lot of management process. You have to maintain the outlets, and in this direct benefit transfer, just you didn't need to give them. Means you just give them at the exact price, whatever the market price is there, and give the subsidy amount in their account or transfer them directly. This is what the concept is, and the targeting is better now because when the BPL households is linked with the Aadhaar card, and then now you have a more target based direct benefit transfers. You can do that. In order to see whether this direct benefit transfer is going to work or not, we have some pilot target at pilot target in a state like Chhattisgarh, Pondicherry, and some set of blocks in Jharkhand also. So the main focus was the beneficiary bank account should be there. They face problems as traveling distance to bank branches to confirm whether they are going to get a direct benefit transfer or not. Even if they get the direct benefit transfer, they have to go to the consumer service center to collect that money. And the direct benefit transfer is not adjustable for the inflation. For example, the direct benefit transfer is being fixed by the government, and if the inflation is there, the inflation itself cost the farmer a little higher amount than what is about that inflation amount. The inflation is not being fixed by the government, so that is the problem. And the third one is the direct benefit transfer to the PDS. No, not the problem, the note, you can note it down. On it's the direct benefit transfer itself had led to save around 19,000 crore rupees. This is very interesting data. So there is a lot more thing to cover in this topic, but just having a look over the time, I'm stopping. I'm ending this video here. So few more topics is in this topic. So if you want me to explain that in the video form also, then please do comment below. I will try to put that in a video form. And thanks for being patient and hearing all these things. I think this is sufficient for a little bit crux understanding of UPSC, this topic based on UPSC content based on the food security and the agriculture price policy. Thanks for watching.